I'd like to think that my first journey of being gay started in sophomore year of high school. This guy that changed my life, and in my eyes, after I met him, he was perfect. It didn't take long before I fell completely in love with him, and we became more than friends, and after that, everything changed, including my self-esteem, the way I looked at gay people, because to me, again, he was perfect in my eyes. Like, he was the perfect person. So he was also gay. So how can you be perfect and be gay, and gay be a bad thing?
My journey within the LGBT community began back when I was in college. I had been in a world that was pretty sheltered, and through high school, when I branched out into college, I started to realize that feelings that I was having kind of made sense for a different part of society, if you will, at the time.
I have been really lucky to have had that journey start really early on in my life. I grew up in a household where there was no judgment. It was judge-free, it was hate-free. And I'd like to think that as I got older and have my own household, that I have the same environment available for my kids.
Growing up in poverty during my childhood, being gay was the least of my worries. And I felt like my family was okay with it anyway. What I did not realize is that I ignored the bullying as I focused mainly on surviving.
I had a couple friends. I always was hanging out with people that were weird, because I myself am weird. I identify as weird. And I don't know, a couple of my friends later on that year, especially in third grade, when I remember, started coming out wearing bright colors. There was one time I remember when He'll Remain Nameless came in with some heels. I thought it was awesome, but something changed that day, and it was basically we began to be bullied, especially me, because I was always backing him up. I was the only one that played with him. I was basically his only friend.
Growing up, I never considered myself to be an ally. There didn't seem to be a need. I had a ton of friends who were gay, but it didn't affect me or my peers around me, teachers, parents. Nobody made a big deal out of it. It wasn't until I got older and saw the news stories, heard personal experiences from friends and family, that I realized being an ally actually is important. It can mean a lot of different things to people, but to me, it just means lending a hand when somebody wants to talk, just not saying anything, just listening, or giving advice, or just sitting next to somebody when they want to feel like someone's with them.
My journey began 15 years ago when I was working for a large company in the Midwest. I had coworkers who were in various stages of coming out as LGBT. I also had other coworkers who were very closeted and very fearful about losing their jobs if they did come out. At that time, there were not any federal, state, or even company policies to protect them from discrimination.
You know, it didn't take long for everyone to find out. After I told my family, and then my friends, and then, you know, it didn't take long before the entire graduating class of 2009 at Germantown High School in Memphis, Tennessee found out that Troy was gay. And I'll never forget remembering thinking, wow, no one really cared as much as I thought they would. And I think once my big secret came out and it wasn't a secret anymore, people cared a lot less, you know, because Cat was out of the bag, and it made sense to come out when I did.
In my teenage years, I found comfort and sense of belongingness with my straight friends. For me to be accepted, I had to be the clown and always the life of the party. It was always about how entertaining I was to the people around me that got me accepted and welcomed.
Certainly, coming out to your parents, coming out to your family is a very scary time if you are from a background which is a little more conservative. Answering questions for people became very common. They were asking, why am I gay? And, you know, how did you end up gay? And really, I would often respond to them simply that I didn't choose to be gay. I chose to live honestly.
So since I'm not a professional lobbyist, I'm not, kind of on the front lines of social change, I've always, wanted to make a difference, wanted to make an impact. And one of the ways that I found that I can do that is one conversation at a time on a daily basis. I have found that, the more comfortable and authentic I am in my own skin, the more comfortable those around me are, and it really opens the door for real conversation.
As my journey has progressed, I've also had the opportunity to see people finally feel comfortable enough when they've come to work in an area I've worked in, or have been within their friends who've finally felt comfortable enough to be themselves, to really be okay in their own skin, and the joy that comes with that freedom. And I know for a fact I could never understand what it felt like before that for them, and what it must feel like for them once they've finally felt accepted enough and felt comfortable enough to be them.
As I was listening to the panelists' stories at our recent Pride event, suddenly I felt my pain through their stories. Their stories became my story. I felt my pain, the pain I ignored throughout these years, thinking that if I were good at something, I will be okay.
It wasn't until I got to college and saw how differently people were treated, random students or my friends, that I realized the importance of being an ally. It just means being there for someone, whether you have to say a word or you're just sitting and listening the entire time. Just letting people know you're there for them is really important in these people's lives when they feel like no one's on their side.
I've always said to people, and directly to my daughter, I want you to be happy. I want you to thrive. I want you to be healthy, and I want you to be safe. And whoever that is with does not matter to me at all.
That's why the It Gets Better project is so important to so many of today's youth. It helps people see that they're not alone, that we all share the same dreams and aspirations, and a lot of times conflicts, and we're all just in it together, and you're not alone. There's a lot of other people just like you out in the world that are going through the same things you are. And I think, to me, looking back when I was 16, that makes a huge difference.
I know this probably sounds like a cliche, and you may hear this a lot, and you may just kind of dismiss it, but really just be yourself, be your authentic, brave self, because the more comfortable you are in your own skin, the more authentic you are, the more comfortable people around you are going to be, and it really does get better with time and age, and it may not help directly tomorrow, but it will help, eventually, and it may be the day after or the day after that, but just be yourself.
When you're ready to share your journey with others, you'll have the support. Working together, our journey got better, and yours will too.
My advice, be strong and don't let negativity get you down. Know that somewhere out there are people, and there's a lot of them, who care and appreciate you for who you are. We may experience cloudy days and stormy nights, but it does get better.
Love is the answer, regardless if it's a niece, a nephew, son, daughter, friend. Doesn't matter what age. I say the answer is love. Being able to love yourself for who you are, coming out no matter what repercussions, no matter what lashback. It gets better as you grow up, in your love for the world, your love for the community gets stronger and stronger each day.
In the end, hang in there, be brave. There's going to be times you're going to be uncomfortable, but if you are patient and let people get to know you for who you are, you'll probably be surprised by the amount of fulfillment that you will find in your personal life. It gets better.